Ama się krótka. Lecimy z tym. Ama się krótka zawitała do nas do studia. Dzień dobry, hello.
Dzień dobry, hello, bardzo mi miło.
A pleasure.
Your pleasure.
To have you here. It took me a while to get hold of you, but I've learned that if I really want something, I get it. You know, and this is a message from my viewers. I want to start on a positive note. I want them to know that if you truly want something, you'll have it. Right?
Yeah.
One day you wake up, the other day Ama's calling you on your phone, asking for a parking spot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and then you're here. So, do you believe that anything is possible?
I totally do believe in affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
I truly do it every single day because I think that our thoughts, what we think about, becomes our reality. And I don't know if you had that kind of situation in your life that you deeply wanted something or you were thinking about this every single day and it just happened in your life.
Right. Having you here on my podcast.
yeah, exactly.
There it is, right?
As we talk about today, and this is kind of unbelievable in one of the part of this situation. But when you're gonna deeply think about this, you know that this is kind of affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, if you really want something in your life, you're gonna have it. But I think it should be not from your ego, it should be from your heart. Because if you put bad energy on something, it won't be good for you. But all of us need to learn lesson. I think that I'm kind of person who's giving people good energy and who's telling people that everything is possible in life. That's my kind of affirmation for life.
And how do you practice affirmation on a daily basis? You wake up and how does it go?
I'm making my journal.
Right.
Every time when I'm waking up, I have that kind of routine that I'm putting hot water with lemon to the cup. I'm drinking it on empty stomach. And I open my notebook and I'm writing my thoughts. I don't know, my dreams. I'm not thinking what I'm gonna write, but I'm just writing in my hand, right? And I'm not able to stop it. Just my thoughts to my hands, to the paper. That's the kind of routine what I have. And if we're talking about the affirmation, is like I'm not like kind of meditate or think, okay, I need time for myself. I think It's kind of short routines that we should have in life. I don't know, I'm driving somewhere and I'm focusing. Ama, what you want in this day? What's going to happen in this day? What's your goal for this day or goals for that exact moment? And I think that kind of seconds in our life, in the time of the day, it's kind of meditation.
Mm-hmm. Because if you think about it, it's inner dialogue, right? That you have with yourself, your inner self. How do you talk to yourself today? Because I feel like you also need to learn how to talk to yourself. Not everybody can do that. To go deeper and get to know your inner self can be a scary place for some people. But how do you talk to yourself today? And what words do you use most often?
I'm going to come back to kind of situation in my life that made me a huge lesson, because when I moved backwards for kind of about 2 years ago, probably a lot of people thought that I'm very happy in my life, which wasn't true. And I remember when I broke my Achilles tendon and I have an operation first time in my life, and I needed to learn how to walk again in my life. There was 1-to-1. And since that moment, when I had time only with myself, I was healing my leg, said to myself, Ama, why it happened in your life? What is wrong? And I was very truly with myself that it stopped me for a reason, because I don't know if you believe in energy, but I think so, of course, because we are talking about affirmation.
Right.
And I need to change something in my life. So I cut all of toxicity that I sow, environment in my, I don't know, every relationship with friends, with kind of romantic relationship or business relationship, and even with my work. And I start to see that when I change my environment, I started to change myself. And also when I started to change myself, my environment changed. And since that moment, every single day, I was very honest with myself that I can be sad, I can feel grief, I can cry, I can say to myself that shit happened.
Because it does happen.
Of course. And because I don't have to be happy every single moment in my life. And as I said, everything happened for a reason, but we need to be very aware of signs that universe giving us. Going back to your question, is like when you start to hear your inner voice, I think it's like you need to understand, first of all, how to hear it. And I think that you need to go out from your comfort zone, but by staying with yourself in silence. That's the first step.
Can it be uncomfortable?
For me, that was very uncomfortable. In the first moment, that was very uncomfortable because I started to see everything, like my thoughts, my reactions, how I speak, how I see myself in the mirror, for example. When there was a time that I stayed with myself every single day, I started to see that, oh my God, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like more and more and more stuff. And I stopped for a second and I said, Amma, you can't do it. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why you do not be thankful who you are? And that thought came to me that my body is my temple, that I need to build home inside of me. If I'm going to do it, I can spread it to others. But the first step is to love yourself.
Right. It's not an easy task to do nowadays. And sometimes you need to regrow this plant. You need to change the pot. Like literally, you have to change the soil, get away from all the toxicity, right?
Toxicity, yes.
Get different rays of sunshine, different water, and grow back again.
But you need to understand that the things that happened or the environment which is around you, it's not good for you. It's not good for your self-growing stuff. That you will not achieve good goals. Right. If you're gonna stay in the same place.
Right. And you said that was 2 years ago, right? That you started to see these changes.
Partnerem podcastu jest Tutlo, szkoła angielskiego online, która tak jak ja pomaga przełamywać bariery w mówieniu.
When we talk about affirmations, right? Let's get back to that. You really deeply want something, but it's not just about wanting. Like you have to act now. You have to make that step, make that decision, right? It's also not so easy.
It's like you need to live the life you want. For example, you want to be happy. That's so obvious. So start to realize what makes you happy in life.
What are your hobbies?
Yes. Start to be grateful that you're a healthy person. You have home. You have money to pay your bills. I don't know, you have food that you're gonna eat. You have friends around you. You have family. Like, you know, that kind of small things. You can think that they are obvious, but they are not. We should be grateful what we have. Because I think that mostly of the time we are not.
We're not. I do agree with that. Look, Amma, going back to the first question I asked you, I'm also a strong believer that anything is possible. But I also know for a fact that in a society we often clip our wings, obcinamy sobie skrzydła. nawzajem, right? We do it to each other, and then you start doing it sometimes to yourself because you are a part of society, so eventually you also become that person. We constantly hear things like, oh, that's impossible, you can't do that. To niemożliwe, nie można tak, tak nie wypada, right? You can't pull that off. And we're surrounded by those voices that impose limits, right, on what's achievable. You can't achieve it. And sometimes those voices are the ones that come from the closest of our family, friends, people we thought were close to us, right? The inner circle. Did you ever experience that? And did you ever experience this pressure not to dream too big?
I did, of course. I was born in 1992. I think that in those years, also in previous years, but also in those years, I was growing up as a good girl, and it's nobody's fault. It's like kind of what our parents, what the environment had in kind of frames.
Mm-hmm.
Especially girls can't do this, as you said. Boys, I thought that for boys they could do more. They was allowed to do more things. I think so.
And girls are good, but boys are smart.
Yes.
Also, right?
Girls are good, boys are bad. So
Or bad.
they can do I don't want to say better, but like more stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like society.
You allowing them
right.
for more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think when you're going to the school and you are part of the graduation in the school, that people around you letting you know that you need to be good girl, it's like it's kind of thinking you have deeply in your mind, and you're growing with that kind of thinking. So if you started to be loud, if you start to think not like people around you, but you have like your own thinking, and when you start to
use bad words,
yes, have your own ideas, which people's gonna think that you are crazy, it's inappropriate to do and to be like you want. So we put ourselves in the cage called I can't do this. And when you have people around around you, when you have people around you that, I don't know, your friends, your family, who's, as you said, telling you that you can't do this, you will not gonna achieve it. First of all, you need to understand that this is not the story about you. This is a story about them.
projecting
and they small,
themselves.
Sometimes they are projecting them, yes, on yourself, but on you, but also sometimes they have small minds. Sorry for telling this, but I do feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think like this. So, of course, it also happens to me that I wanted something, and I do believed in myself inside of me, but a lot of situations happened that people around me told me that, Amma, don't do this. Amma, you will not achieve it. Amma, it will never happen to you.
And did you believe them?
And I started to believe in them. For example, my first movie with huge success worldwide, and people in Poland said that this movie is not a good one, and we did bad. And I started, when you're hearing that kind of situation that happened again and again and again,
You start believing
I
it.
started to believe in it. But I'm so grateful that it happened in my life, because by this, I learned my lesson. And I said to myself, I will never again believe in people's opinion, because what is based for myself is what I think about myself truly and fully, not people's opinion making me, but I am building myself by myself.
So what stops us from doing what we want? Society. This is our theory we're going to be discussing later on.
Yeah, okay.
But go ahead.
I don't think so. Also society.
What do
I
you
think
think it
also
is,
that as we talk about this in previous question, or that you do not stay with yourself in silence, for example. And I think the biggest problem is that we don't know ourselves. Like, we don't know what we want. We don't know who we are. We don't know what our desires are, what we can, what our like hobbies, needs,
Right.
who we really are as a human beings. And I think that's the most important thing in this case. That a lot of us, we don't know
Who we are.
Yeah.
Amma, I always look for a word or expression that describes my guests. And I think the one that fits you well is self-aware. And this is also what we just said, so I want to link it. Because we are aware. All of us, we are aware, right? We're human beings. We observe, we see. But it takes more effort to be self-aware, to have this inner dialogue, to listen to your gut, listen to your inner self. And you are this person in my eyes. I mean, this is based on Instagram scrolling, and I've met you an hour ago, so this is my impression. But you stop, you pause, you reflect, you realign. And this is what you do with your poranki z Amą, mornings with Ama. And I want to touch upon that. To give a bit of a context for the viewers, you focus on listening to your inner self, but you also engage with this dialogue. And it's interesting because it's a monologue, but people engage in comments and it becomes sort of a dialogue. What inspired you to do that? What keeps you going? And what have you discovered about yourself through these talks? Why is it important to you?
Okay. That's a long question,
Right.
I will do my best.
Right. We can break it down.
Okay.
What inspired you?
I need to think, but because there's a various things. But first of all, I think that my own story inspired me. It's not from my ego that I'm telling you this. No. To make it clear, is like when my Instagram, there was a bump on my Instagram that I started to have a lot of followers, and I started to think, why? Okay, first of all, people followed me because of 365 days. But then I started to realize that more than 80% are women. So I was like, okay, so maybe in people's opinion, they think that mostly of my followers are men, which wasn't and isn't true. And I was starting to look at my DMs, and I started to receive messages from women of all about the world, that they was telling me that they don't know what it is, but when they seeing my stories, when they reading my posts,
they feel a friend. They feel that somebody's there that they can connect to, right? They want to change their lives. They want to achieve their own goals. And I'm that kind of, I don't know if I can say it, but kind of inspiration for them to grow, the inspiration to change. And because of my own story, because of my background, what I had with the killer stuff, what I thought about myself, I was thinking, okay, what about to do that kind of diary that I'm going to ask people the question that I asked myself. And at the beginning, I started to ask a question and I was waiting for the answers. But I realized that it's better that I'm going to ask them, but also share my own thoughts in those short reels. And because they're going to feel more comfortable, because they will hear my own voice, my own story. And also by this, it will be like kind of protection for them. And I'm deeply honored that I have them and they want to answer all those questions. It's like a community you have around there.
And it's like, and mostly of them are women.
Right, also. Yeah.
Also men, that I'm grateful about. And it makes, when you see that what you are doing, it's like kind of, you can connect with people. It making you proud that you can do something good. And that was my main thoughts. If I can do something good to people, I'm all in. I'm gonna do it for them, also for myself, because we're always doing for ourselves. But I'm also gonna do it for them. Every time people told me, Alma, you have a beautiful voice, and I was thinking like, what I can do to spread my voice, to be heard, to be more useful for them. And also that was the reason that I made it.
Right.
And I have a lot of ideas in my mind that I hope that's gonna happen next.
But what did you learn as Amma? Because, right, you ask those questions, you share your thoughts, and people can relate to them. They can, right, get inspired. But I feel like it's also a nice learning lessons for you.
Of course.
You grow as a person. We grow every day, obviously. But, right, you share it. And then what was this main lesson that you want to share perhaps with us, that you've learned through these talks, through these questions?
Self-love, because I think that should stay on the pedestal. Like it should be in the first place in your life. If you're gonna love yourself, if you're gonna know who you really are, if you're gonna understand who you are, your needs, as we said, your wants, your desires, what you're gonna spread it into your relationships with others. Because I think so, if you do not love yourself, you don't know the meaning of love. You can't be in a good relationship, romantic one. You can't be in good friendship, the real one. You can't build good business stuff, because it's like, it's gonna be, for some of the times it can be good, but you start to realize that something bad is happening. Your life is not filled with what you want. And that's the main thing. That's why I'm asking those questions. People to stop and to realize what's going on in their lives. What's going to be the other step they will take with themselves.
Mm-hmm. So it's putting yourself really up there on top of the ladder.
Yeah, you need to be on the top. You need to be always at the first place. In the oxygen mask, you need to put on yourself first.
To take
even
care
if you
of somebody else, right? The baby is what the
if you're not care of yourself with respect, how you want care of others? How? It's impossible. Because it's gonna drain you.
You raised many important issues there, right? You said self-love, but also self-confidence, or not giving damn what other people think.
Yeah.
Right? This is also what we're going to be discussing soon. But also empowerment, right? This is a word that pops up a lot in social media these days, right? Women empowerment especially, right? I mean, the word empowerment, it dates back to feminist movements, right? So it was there, but now we can see that, I think, in my eyes at least, it has a bit of same meaning, but we use it to inspire women, to show that they can break from cycles, that they can be heard. And this empowerment, I can really see that in your content. What does it mean to you, empowerment? That's the question I have. And the second one is, do you feel like you're a fully strong woman today?
So empowerment for me is like, you can speak. You can speak what you feel. You can speak your own truth. That your voice is heard. That's empowerment for me. Also, the empowerment is like what you have in your mind. What your thoughts are about. How you treat yourself first. Because how you treat yourself, you're gonna treat others. If you have respect to yourself, for yourself, and to others, the real empowerment for me is not like that you're gonna push something but it's like kind of love for me. That's the real empowerment, that it's not becomes from your ego. It's kind of heart mixed with your mind. And if I can say about myself that
do you feel like you're fully aware of your strength as a woman today?
I think that I'm on a good path on it and about it, because I'm 33 right now, and I can truly feel my power in various situations, a lot of situations in my life. But I'm also a woman who has a little girl inside of me. I have my inner child, yes. And sometimes there are kind of situation when I'm so shy and I'm kind of feel like a weirdo. And but now I totally can say to others that, this is a part of me. I will not be ashamed of who I am today. And I also feel that's my power, that I can say truly and fully to others that I'm not ashamed. And I do believe, and I do cross my fingers for others, that one day when people's gonna wake up, they will feel their power like this. I wish them, really. Right. Because, we are humans. We have our bad and good sides. We have our ups and downs. And this is what makes us.
Life is all about it also.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's about finding this strength, which is also
it's about the balance.
The balance.
Yeah.
But it's a journey.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm also adding to what you said, keeping the fingers crossed. Ama, we often label people in society. Grzeczna dziewczynka, zły chłopiec, right? Which is a stupid tendency, because I explain it to you. I think we do it because it makes life easier, right? Somehow. But we forget that it has the opposite effect. We reduce individuals to like a single aspect, right? And in your opinion, what labels are most assigned to women, and how do we define women in today's society?
I think it, how I can say it? I think it depends of the culture, first of all. Depends of in which society we grown. And it depends which path you're gonna decide to put your step into. I was in this place a couple of years ago that I was putting labels on people.
You were putting labels on people?
Yeah. I totally, I'm not ashamed to telling this, because I was raised that this is normal. And when I started to rethink of my thoughts and what I have in my mind, who I really am and what I want in life, I started to realize that I don't want to live that way anymore. Because if I'm going to label people, put labels on the people, it's going to throw back to me.
Yeah.
And that's a circle that sometimes we don't know how to stop. But I think I stopped. And to answering also questions like, we're putting bad stuff towards women and men. It's like women are beautiful, women are ugly, women are smart, or women are stupid. Is the first thought that I have to answer your question. And for example, we're putting women on down levels. Girls are good and boys are bad. So we allowed boys to do more, that they can more. If we also talking about putting labels to them, it's like they are men are I don't know, they are better in doing business. I don't know, they are better to be the boss. they
leader.
are, yes, they earning more because they can, because it's normal that they're gonna do it or they're gonna achieve it. It's like, I don't know, to be honest, I don't know more labels to put it, to talk about, because this is like, this is kind of, I feel kind of uncomfortable right now. Not because of you, of course, but like,
because it still exists. That's the thing.
Yes,
maybe not in you, but it's still
because
omnipresent.
it's so away from me right now, and it's because I do not think like this right now.
Right.
I don't know how it works. Like,
it's just what I have in top of my mind is that, right? We should behave in a certain way. Women should have children at some point.
Of
There's
course.
this expectation.
Of course, if we're talking about yes, of course. If we're talking about expectations, people think that they can put their expectation on us. For example, we can see it in our families. When you're gonna get married, when you're gonna have children,
Classic.
how woman you are, you will never find a man. For example, I'm single since 2 years, and that was my choice because I wanted to be single. This is not that someone, how to say opuścił mnie. How to say opuścił mnie? Someone break up with me. It's like I decided. And this is my maturity that I stayed with myself because I wanted to heal myself. I wanted to learn my lesson why a couple of stuff happened in my life, why my past looked like this. And as a mature woman right now, which I think about myself, is like, I'm gonna decide what to do. Not people's gonna decide about me and by me. And if the expectations are labels, of course.
A woman who decides to go with her gut despite the critics is a powerful woman.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Be that woman.
Yeah.
Keywords. You could think it's critics powerful, but for me it's not. For me it's decides.
Yeah.
A woman who decides. Because we can be a woman who doesn't decide, right? But this word decides, it means you break this cycle. You choose to trust yourself.
Yeah, that's the very important what you said. You need to break the cycle that you was putting into. Because, for example, I don't want to be the master of it. No. But I think that when you are born, you can't decide how you're going to be raised. When you start to know what your consciousness is about, you can understand what happened in your life and why it happened. And if you're going to collect the signs, you can break the cycle. You can decide that there's always two paths. You can decide that you're gonna go by your comfort zone, how you were raised, or you're gonna break the cycle and you're gonna be the one who's gonna decide about yourself. But it's very uncomfortable because people who's around you, especially your family, especially your friends,
They're gonna judge.
Yeah.
And they're gonna tell you what to do.
They're gonna tell you that, oh my God, you changed a lot. This is not you.
Is it really you?
Yeah, devil's gonna talk about inside of you, what happens to you.
Right. They're gonna make you the bad person of the whole situation.
Yes.
Even though you want to break from it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You're gonna be the guilty. You're gonna be the one who's the black sheep in the family.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it in one moment in my life.
Tell me about it.
When I started my own therapy in those 2 years, and I started to rethink about my life, I completely understand that I don't want to live that I used to live anymore. I don't want it. I need that change in my life. And when I started change myself, the way I think, even the way I move, even the way I was speaking, even how I was building everything what was around me, people who were very close to me in that exact moment, they started to think that something is bad with me, that something bad happens to me. And of course, I have a lot of fights in that time, in that period of time. But I was focusing on the growth, that this is only the period of time. I need to wait. I need to be calm and I need to wait. And life's going to show me, the time's going to show me how it's going to be. A couple of people that I used to think they are my friends are not anymore in my life.
It turned out, yeah.
Yeah.
Życie weryfikuje.
Yeah.
I cannot even find in English, right? Sometimes, yeah.
No,
but
it's
this is
totally
it.
okay. Yes.
And this is it. And what you say it's I totally agree with that. And but the word decide, easier said than done. Meaning, it's not so easy. You are aware of that. You're mature. Takes time. I don't want you.
Don't you think that it's not so easy because we still, wait. We still. Jezu, teraz ja. Cały czas musimy polegać na opinii innych ludzi. We still
depend on people's opinions? Okay.
Don't you think it is because we still depend on people's opinion?
100%.
How they're gonna think about us, 100%. How they're gonna feel. That's it. Mm-hmm. So we put step forward, put step back, because we don't know what to do.
Right, we're paralyzed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mostly of the time.
And if you were to give a piece of advice for those women who perhaps haven't found this strength inside of them, what would you tell them?
I think that as women, we have intuition.
The gut feeling.
We have
right?
the gut feeling also, as
you said.
As I said.
These are your words.
Yeah, thank you. And if you're gonna start believe on our bodies, because body can't cheat on you. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna start believe of your body's reaction, and you're gonna follow your intuition as a woman, you're gonna find the answers every single time in your life, I swear. And I'm saying this not because I'm the master, because of my story. When I started to follow my intuition, when I started to follow my body, the gut, feelings, I heard the answers inside of me, I swear. It's like we deeply know it. We know that we are in bad relationship. Bad is maybe not the exact word that I wanted to say, because for me, this is not black and white in the word right now.
It never is. Yeah.
This is not like dualism for me anymore. No, but it's like if you feel that you are in the relationship that doesn't make you happy, you know that you need to move on. But sometimes we stayed in them because we don't want to hurt that person. But the truth is that we're lying to ourselves because we don't have the courage to stay with the truth to ourselves.
Yeah, be authentic with ourselves.
This is every time it's story about us, not about others. What we're doing, what we're talking about, it's always the story about us.
Maybe controversial question, but I'm going to ask.
Okay.
If we think of ourselves so much, can it be a sign of being egoistic in a way? Where do we draw the line of being egocentric, right?
Yeah.
Egoistic. And because at the end of the day, I think we also live in a society. We can't just have klapki na oczy, right?
Yeah.
And just think of ourselves. We should always put ourselves first.
Yeah.
I totally agree with what you said. But then it might be seen as a sign of...
I think when you're doing something from your heart and with your heart, it's impossible that you're going to be kind of egocentric. Mm-hmm. Of course, first of all, you're thinking about yourself, but in the same moment, you need to be empathetic person. Yeah, empathetic person who's gonna think about others, not
Right.
to hurt them.
Right. This
Or-
is what I was gonna get at.
Yeah,
right?
and you know when you hurt people. You exactly know when you're doing this. Sometimes we putting szpilka into others.
Yes. I love this episode so much. This is it.
Yes, and that's so funny. And this is the moment that I told you about that I'm kind of shy right now, but it's totally okay. That I'm not ashamed. But this is the exact moment I was talking about. That this is the kind of Ama who's like, but we don't have to
love
be
the
perfect.
authenticity.
Yes,
There you go.
yes,
This program
yes.
isn't about imperfection at the end of the day.
Of course, yes.
So I like that.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Sometimes we
Szpilka.
love
That's
to put
where we-
szpilka towards people.
Why do we do it though?
Because I think it's also my thinking. I can be wrong, but I think it's because it's the lack of love to ourselves.
Period.
If you need to be ironical to someone, it's because there's a lack of love to yourself. And for example, I used to have the situation with women that I don't know, they were talking shit about me, or they kind of talking situation that never happened in my life. It was their kind of, I don't know, something. And it happened a couple of years ago. And I was thinking, and I was the person who was like, what the fuck is going on here? Why they doing this to me? Why they are so envy? Why they are
Women
so...
against women,
yes.
right? Yes.
And when I started to be very deeply, when I started to be deeply in truth with myself, I said, Ama, don't you, zachowywać się, behave. Don't you behave kinda the same sometimes in your life towards women? And I was like, okay, yeah. Sometimes I was the same. Sometimes I'd put my projections, I put the labels on them. And I said, stop. Because what you're giving is gonna back to you. And since the moment I realized right now in my life, my environment of women completely changed, and they're not that kind of situation anymore. And if they are, I don't know them. That's also the magic.
Right.
Because I think when you start to hear something about you, and this is something bad, which is very uncomfortable for you, you need to think if your behavior wasn't like this in kind of period of time. Because I deeply feel what we put towards people, it's like coming back. That's the circle of life.
Right.
This kind of karma.
I strongly believe in that.
Yeah.
Look, gaslighting, I think this is also like a term that's we're sort of discussing, right? It's like it relates to it very much, everything that we've said. And I want to, again, get back to this sentence. I'm doing it for the third time. Woman who decides to go with her gut despite the critics is a powerful woman. But maybe that woman has been gaslighted so many times, has been manipulated into thinking differently, that she cannot decide. Maybe somebody told her, hey, this is not you. This is not your reality. And if you start believing that, what other people, you might start believing what other people tell you. We already touched upon that, but I want to know, have you ever encountered gaslighting in personal or professional life? And why do you think it's harmful? This, right? Because what is gaslighting, right? It's basically manipulating someone into thinking differently about themselves and the reality around them. Why do we do that? What's up with this? Why do we do that? And has it happened to you?
I think we're turning back to the self-love subject. And I think it's based in it. If you're very unhappy with yourself, you need to be violent to others, because gaslighting is a violence.
It's a psychological
Yes.
abuse.
That's true. And I think lots of the times I felt it. Yes, especially as a public person, put their opinions towards me. People were thinking something about me, and they think that they could tell me what to do and how they wanna build me or what I need to do. And sometimes, of course, I believed them. That was before, that was 2 years ago. That was before the accident that I had. It happened on the different levels of my life, in romantic relationship, with my friends, with my family, with business stuff. Every time I put it myself down because in that period of time, I completely didn't know what is the self-love, what is my value. And today the situation is completely different.
Right.
But if you don't know who you really are, people can, just like this, make you down,
Right.
make you feel down, make you feel like nothing, like you don't deserve what you want. I think that's the main problem.
Right. This is an open question. I don't have answers to it. I'm also thinking. But do you think we can recognize with time those techniques that people use
Yeah,
against us?
of course.
How
I think so, because if you are very focused of the environment around you, you're gonna really feel who you attract. And if you're gonna attract the same kind of people, that should be a sign for you that something is wrong here. Why you? Because we need to remember that what's happening in our lives is because we allow for it. Every single time
we say yes.
we
to
say
that.
yes. For example, our meeting is because we both said yes to it. I don't know, when you feel bad in the conversation with someone because you allowed, for example, that person to break your boundaries. And it should be a red flag for us. It's about the gut feeling that also I think humans have it.
Right.
All of us humans have it. If you feel very uncomfortable in some situation, it should be a kind of alarm in your head that something is wrong here, and you feel good. If someone's gonna tell you, no, everything is okay, I don't know why you think that way, you should feel it. That this is like kind of
But sometimes we can't say no. And we allow.
toxicity. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because this is throwing back to the team that we raised to be good, especially us. I'm sorry, but I think so. That we don't want to make people sad. We don't want to hurt people. But by this, we're hurting ourselves. That's the kind of twist.
Right. It's really interesting how we develop now this understanding. I mean, I was aware of that, but now I'm more aware of that really this upbringing is crucial. And what you said is really also interesting, that you're not, it doesn't depend on you.
Of course.
The environment that you're going to be raised in. And
Yeah.
I think in Poland is still this perception that it's changing, hopefully for the better. Again, fingers crossed, that it will be better for the future.
But no, but if we're talking about, it's kind of, we can't, I said that we do not decide how you're going to be raised, but it's also, if you're going to go to the very deep conversation, it's about what you believe in. I don't know, the energy, the reincarnation stuff. If that way of thinking, because I do believe, it's like you totally, before you were born, you totally say yes, that you're gonna live in this exact environment, it's this exact family. I do believe in it. People may think that I'm crazy. I'm not. In my way of thinking about life, but it's like I deeply know in the way I am right now in my consciousness that I decided to be here, that I decided that I'm gonna put myself kind of in kind of awakening position, and kind of an awakening in my life. You always have two paths that I said before. You can decide that you're gonna stay in your comfort zone, or you're gonna decide that you wanna grow.
And to go out of the comfort zone.
Exactly.
That's where you grow.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Only by this.
Right.
Partnerem podcastu jest Tutlo, szkoła angielskiego online, która tak jak ja pomaga przełamywać bariery w mówieniu.
Amma, we're going to be slowly wrapping up, but I also have last question from the sponsor, which is Tutlo, szkoła języka angielskiego online. And this brings the idea of going out of the comfort zone. Because I believe, I have my theory, I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, that international production that you took part in was a bit going out of the comfort zone from linguistic points of view. And the question from Tutlo is, did you feel any pressure or stress knowing it wouldn't be in Polish? Was it a step outside your comfort zone? This is the question they have for you.
The last movie I made, The Compulsion, which is all British production, it was like putting big step away of my comfort zone, because first of all, British English is very specific ones.
Right.
And when you're around people that they are talking British English, the first days when I was with them was like,
Are they talking English to me? Is it the same language? Did I learn this language?
yeah, what the fuck is going on here?
Classic.
I was like I was so stressed because I couldn't even understand what they were talking to me. And I was like, this is fucking disaster. Because I don't know how I'm going to make this movie with them, because I just do not understand what they're talking to me right now. So what's going to be on set?
What I have to act, perform, do my job.
But day by day, it started to getting better. I know maybe I have that kind of ability when I'm next to people who's talking their language.
You adapt.
Yes, exactly. And that was like kind of...
Just came naturally later.
Yes. And even I started to talk like them, like with kind of similar, not the same like them, but
I
with
can still
kind
hear
of
the accent going.
with a kind of similar accent.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, this is it.
And like, that's perfect because, and I think by this, I also, polepszyłam angielski.
Improved
my English skills. Yes.
Great.
And since that moment, since 2023, I started to watch films only in English.
This is a perfect opportunity.
Series only in English.
Right.
Because a lot of people asking me, Amma, how you can speak that English so good? And I said, because of this.
Right. This is immersion of, immersing in a language and really learning it as you should. It's not by books, but the real language. Amma, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad we're ending on this note because I think it was not only valuable in the sense of what we discussed, but also educational. And we kind of brought it together, right? The going out of the comfort zone about self-love, about making those decisions, but also language.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you stopped by.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And if I can say something to people who's watching us, is like always, maybe don't be ashamed of who you are. Never. Because in this world, we need to be unique. And that's so amazing that we are so different, that we can have different perspective of how we feel and think about life. And that's the main thing, what you need to take care about in your life, to be you.
And let's embrace this uniqueness.
Yes.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Dziękuję ci bardzo.
Dziękuję.
Mamy to.